Mike Sullivan. I'm a former IRS agent and teaching instructor with the IRS. Welcome to my YouTube station. It's the home of the 5-minute or less video. I don't have any fancy books behind me and making me look really intelligent and all that stuff. Don't need a suit. All the information is up here. You can find out about me personally on my website at 777irs.com. You may have seen me on TV. I'm on TV quite a lot, and I worked about 10,000 cases for IRS, and I've been doing this a hell of a long time, and I got a whole team of former IRS agents that work with me in all different facets of Internal Revenue Service. I go ahead and I started doing these videos really for 3 reasons: to really educate you from the things that you need to know about the subject I'm speaking about. I love to inform you from insider information that you're not going to get anywhere else. I have been doing this for 50 years, 10 years with the IRS. And lastly, so you don't get ripped off. So anyway, if you need me, you want to use me, you can find me in the description section. Anyway, let's get on to the topic today. Which is what happens if you don't file your tax returns? What's IRS going to do? It's a good question. I'm asked that question a lot, obviously, by non-filers. Believe it or not, half the people who contact us haven't filed returns in a long, long time. Most of them over 6 years. And you know what happens to people, and I've been busting doors, not open doors, I shouldn't say busting, knocking on doors back in the day when I worked at IRS, asking people for their tax returns. And you know what happens is once you don't file 1 or 2, then the gamut runs. It gets easier not to file, and then you all get caught up and not filing. Then you worry during tax time. You look at your mail, waiting maybe for IRS. Maybe there may be a knock on the door. IRS agent's going to be there or something. So there's a whole thing, and some people can just suppress this like it's nothing. And you know, everyone reacts differently to the non-filing of their returns. I know, I've been in this industry actually for 50 years. So if you don't file your tax returns, what is going to happen? Well, let me just go over the options with you. And I'm not an alarmist. I don't really need to do that. And I want to be very honest with you. A lot of people they don't get caught. They either move, or IRS doesn't really have you in the system, or there's a lot bigger fish to fry, so you're kind of left there for a while. With the hiring of these new agents, IRS is probably, I say probably, going to get more active in running these non-filers down if you're a non-filer. I'm not saying they are, but I'm saying there's the likelihood of that happening is far greater. Basically, those investigations are called TDIs, Taxpayer Delinquent Investigations, where a local revenue officer in a particular zip code will get your case. They're going to knock on your door, and if you're not there, they're going to leave a calling card and ask you to call them. So generally what happens, one day IRS will run you down and ask for the returns. Number 2, IRS will decide, this person hasn't filed, we're just going to file their returns for them. And IRS has a provision that they can just go ahead and file your tax returns for you. There's a code section that allows them to go ahead and file. How do they file? They get your 1099s and W-2s. They file your tax return as though you are single. You get no exemptions or dependents or expenses, and you pay the most amount of tax allowed by law. That's what IRS does. They'll set you up for the last 6 years worth of returns, and if you ignore that, one day you're going to try to write a check and you're going to find out your money's gone out of there's no money in the bank account, or you may get a wage garnishment, because what IRS does is they process those as bills, but you'll be getting notices that IRS set that assessment up. Can you reverse that? Yeah, you actually can reverse that by filing original returns back with IRS. And then lastly, there are some cases that do go criminal. Larger dollar cases, IRS wants to make a point. They may never contact you, and you may get a knock on your door one day, and that person's a special agent going ahead, and they're going to want to maybe put you in prison. They will attempt to put you in prison. Those cases are far and few between, but in recent months, I've seen this happen 3 times to people that called me or criminal investigations come out and they want to make the newspapers by putting people who have not filed in jail. Those are your three options you have. I just want to tell you in general, it's so easy to get back in the system. People, at some point you're going to have to file. You don't want IRS to be knocking on your door asking for your return. You just simply got to pick up the phone, call someone, and file your last 6 years' returns. That's it. There's a policy statement, 5133. If you haven't filed in 30 years, 20 years, you got to file only the last 6. IRS has your W-2s and 1099s. You can get them yourself on the IRS portal, irs.gov. You can go ahead and find your W-2s and 1099s. File before IRS gets you. It's going to be a lot more pleasant experience to know that they didn't have to contact you. You voluntarily filed your return. So if you were to call us, we'd file your last 6 years' returns, and then we'd work out a settlement probably in the next month or two after that, once they're assessed. If you need us, you find us in the description section. The information was helpful. Please give me a subscription. I'd love to have that because YouTube values those. They think that you're hot stuff if you get a subscription. So I would appreciate that. And like I said, find me in the description section below. Leave me a comment, a like, but if you want me to do YouTube on something like this, just hit me up, and I try to get to answer all my questions as best I can. Thank you very much.